Today I'm gonna be ranking all of my 12 eyeshadow palettes that I own. Oh, fuck. I just found this one. Damn it! Today I'm gonna be ranking my 13 eyeshadow palettes. Keep in mind that these are the only eyeshadow palettes that I own. None of these palettes are super bad. I'm just ranking the ones that I already own. So let's start with number 13. This is the Tarte High Tides and Good Vibes palette. I bought this because it looked amazing online. You'll see, like, it does look great, right? But there's just 4 glittery ass shades. The blue that I was super excited about is not as vibrant as I thought it would be. I have better browns in my collection, and this it doesn't open all the way and it drives me crazy. And it's very heavy because when I saw this palette online, I knew there was like a kind of watery moment going on, but I did not know it would be this bulky and this, you know, super annoying to work with. It's so unnecessarily expensive. It was 42 euros. This is my number 13 spot. I'm still keeping it to give it another chance, but I just don't feel like the formula is anything special. So that's why it's on number 13. On number 12, we have the Smashbox Full Exposure palette. This was the first ever eyeshadow palette I owned and bought. It's good quality. I've used these 2 shades, the M4 and M5 shade in here, and I really do still enjoy this palette. I just don't gravitate toward it as much because I think the formula after 4 years it has become a little bit stiff, but this is a great palette if you're a beginner. It was for me in any case, so I still like it, but this is the number 12 spot. On number 11, I put the Roxy Roxxsaurus The Ride or Die palette. The reason why it's so low in this list is because I actually bought it a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I haven't really played with it much. I actually used this in my first video where I rant about season 8 of Game of Thrones. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. The colors in here are super pretty. They were easy to work with. I had no problems with it. It's just one of those palettes that I don't gravitate towards that much. This is a very light palette. It has the same size of mirror as the other one, like the Tarte palette. A lot of options to choose from, so I might take this with me when I'm traveling maybe. Very cheap as well. It was only like 12 euros. So I really like this palette, but it wasn't the one that I felt deserved like a top 5 spot. Number 10 spot is the Essence Blushed Eyeshadow Palette. This is a super fun one. It was only like, I think, 3 to 6 euros max or something, and the colors in here are super nice. They're not powdery at all. There's some shimmers in there, as you can see. I don't really like the layout of the palette. For example, this orange is super small and this color is super small, but if you're looking for like a kind of a blushed palette with some of these tones in it, I definitely recommend this one because it's super cheap and the colors stayed put for a long time. So I like this one. It deserves the top 10 selection. At number 9, I put a palette that I made myself on the Colourpop website. It consists out of these 4 shades. Let's ignore the blush and the bronzer for now. It's about the eyeshadows. I chose the color Mousse Matte, Howlin', Say I Do, and the color Earthshine. I really love these colors, but I haven't really used them that much, but I want to use them more. The reason why I put this palette so high in the rankings is because I do use the blush and bronzer a lot, and I use the blush and bronzer as eyeshadow as well. That's why it deserves the number 9 spot. So at number 8, we have the Bitty and Colourpop Collection palette. It's a beautiful palette, super cute. It has a mirror, hallelujah. It's quite compact, it's easy to travel with. The reason why it's not higher on the list is because there's these 2 pressed glitters in them. I don't mind them as much as other pressed glitters in the Colourpop collections, but that's why it's not higher on the list. But I do really love this palette, and that's why it deserves the number 8 spot. A close number 7 is the It's My Pleasure palette by Colourpop. This is a gorgeous palette. It performs the way it should. Compared to other palettes in the monochromatic collections of Colourpop, this one has a little bit more options. Like you can go very dark purple or you can go a little bit more pinkish purple. The only thing, remember that I told you in this Colourpop palette that I made myself, I had the color Earthshine. When I got this palette, I read the titles and in the middle There's the color Earthshine. So I already owned the color and I felt like such an idiot. So that's why I am gonna do a no buy and rules and all of that to make sure that I don't buy doubles unintentionally. But this is very beautiful palette, deserves the number 7 place. On number 6 I have the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I have played with this a few times and there's a couple of reasons why this deserves such a high spot on my list. It is a quite expensive palette, it was 51 euros, but you do get 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 21 shades, damn. So you get 21 shades, which is a beautiful range. You have a lot of options in this palette, a lot of shimmers and a lot of mattes. The only thing that I would say about this palette, which I find a little bit like sad, is that there's not that many matte shades, and some of the shimmers I would have preferred in a matte formula. For example, if one of these two, like the blue or the green, doesn't matter, had been matte, I could have done like a super cool look with them by themselves, but because they're both shimmers, it's kind of, you know, hard.
That's what she said!
Some of the reasons why I like this palette is because you can turn it all the way around, which is so handy. Also, it doesn't weigh too much and it's very compact and very sleek. I mean, I like it, so that's why this gets the number 6 spot. At number 5 we have the Baby Got Peach palette by Colourpop. This is a beautiful palette. I love peach shades on me as well. They look absolutely gorgeous, stunning, elegant, just every single good thing you can say. If you want some peachy kind of palette moment going on, this one is great. The only thing that I don't like about this is the Hungry Ghost shade in there. I don't like pressed glitters in my palettes, and I feel that this palette in particular, if they would have put in like a little bit of a darker peachy brown in there, it would have completed the whole palette. It would have brought everything together, because sometimes I feel like the edge of my eye isn't dark enough, so I have to go in with another brown. Had they put it in this one, it would have been the perfect palette and would have been on number 3 maybe or something. So this is a good number 5. Awesome palette. On the number 4 spot is my Dream Street palette from the collaboration with Kathleen Lights. This is an absolutely gorgeous palette. This would have been higher on the list, maybe in the top 3, for the reason that, you know, Water Bearer and Mermaid Boy are gorgeous shades, and I tried to do the look that she did with like those 2 shades on your mobile lid and then like the orange at the top, and it looks kind of cool, but I just can't seem to get them to work the way I want them to. They're still gorgeous shades and I use them on a very thin brush as like an eyeliner. Beautiful, but this one certainly deserves a high spot in my collection. I love the shade Kaleidoscope as well. It's a shade that I have not seen in other palettes. It's so special, and all of the others are great as well. So definitely a great palette. At the number 3 spots, I actually combined kind of 2 things that I have. I have a MAC magnetic palettes that I want to fill up with more single eyeshadows, and I have my quad that I developed myself. The greenish shade is Steamy and the blue shade is called Tilt. Then I have these shades. The shades in here are Eau, like hoax, but it's I think pronounced in French, so it's Eau. This sparkly shade is All That Glitters. This brown shade is called Brown Down, and this one I know is called Bronze. So these are the 4 shades that I have in my little mag quad, and I use them quite a lot. I think it's absolutely gorgeous quality. These 2 shades, the green and the blue, are also amazing quality. I love them. That's why they are on the number 3 spots. Also, I like the quad because it's easy for traveling, which for me always gives them extra points. I like smaller eyeshadow palettes with a few good shades that I can really use the crap out of. Way more entertaining than big palettes with too much in them. So that's just a personal preference though. We are arriving at the end. We have on the number 2 spot my Milani Most Loved Matte palette. This palette is absolutely stunning. You've seen that I love this shade for the crease. I use this one in the brow bone a lot and this one on the edges of my eye. I'm gonna be using the other 2 rows a bit more because this is more like elegant purpley. This is more like for summer, more summery, more orangey. You have all of the shade names on the back, and it has a gigantic ass mirror, all for the price of, I think, bought this one in sale and it was $14.99. Normally it's like around $20, but you still get such good quality eyeshadows, such a broad range of like options. This is great for traveling with the mirror and everything. That's why this is my number 2 spot. Preach, this is one of my all-time favorites, and I will use it until it's completely empty. At the number 1 spot we've arrived, and I think that this is gonna be quite the surprise for you. This little guy. It's a eyeshadow palette from the brand Rituals. I'm not really sure if you guys, wherever you are, can get this. I also always pull off the label of these, but I know it's the eyeshadow palette that has aubergine in the name, which means eggplant in French and in Dutch. These two on my eyes, just like that, with no other shades. I just absolutely adore them. I put this shade, you know, in the outer corners of my eye, and this one I just put on with my finger in the middle. It just looks so elegant, so professional. This little guy sells for around 15 euros, I think. But these two shades have been my bread and butter ever since I got it. I use it almost every day. It's super travel friendly, it's super small, and I've used it for months already, and there's still so much product in there. See, you can see that I kind of made a dent in there, but it's still going strong. Like, it has a little bit of a sheen to it, not too much, but it just looks more like an eye tint than it does eyeshadow. If you ever get the chance to buy one of these, they have multiple colors. I will try to like show them here on the screen right now. This is just absolutely great. The quality is nice. You get a few shades that are just made to work together. I absolutely adore this one. So this is my number 1 spot. It really deserves it. So those were my top 13? Yeah, so those were my top 13 eyeshadow palettes. So there we go. Those were my top... Blech. Oh my god, how many times do I have to repeat that? Those were my eyeshadow palettes. Deal with it. So these were my top 13 eyeshadow palettes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Is that too casual? Is that too general? Like, how do I end the video? Like, just like a compilation of all of these, you know, tries. I can do that. I can do that. Just all of the different tries right after each other. You know what? I'll just do that because I don't feel like recording anything more. Bye!